next time, as always, peace out. Go Blazers.
Step back, call game like Dame. Now they all know our name. Crossover, then go straight to the hezzy. I'm a dunker like Denny. Small market, yeah, we making it big. Now we got too many cameras. Clinging our guards like Drew. You can't even move, ain't nobody stopping us. Rip City turn up, we making some noise. Pass to the present, we get it like Roy. More to be rockin', we bringing the force. Gang with it down, that's a bucket, of course. If straight and bout it dunk, you gotta move. Young and still hustling like Scoop. Come and tap in, see what's new. Blazers Uprise on the crew.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome in to the Blazers Uprise postgame show presented by Sleeper. Today, the Portland Trail Blazers get a win in Utah to head into the break. Winners of 4 of 5 games. We're going to break it down today. We're going to give you our first half grades for each player and maybe a coach or two as well at the end of this thing. The Blazers, it looked a little rough there in the first half, down 2 headed into halftime, but they were able to pull away for a 16-point win, and a fun little stat. In 3 of the 4 games Scoot Henderson has played, the Blazers have scored exactly 135 points. Donovan Klingan, Drew Holiday, big games today to lead the Blazers. Holiday, 31 points. Both players got close to a triple-double, so we got some good performances to talk about today, some first-half struggles to talk about as well. Eric, what's going on, man? How are you doing?
I'm good. Nice to see the Blazers get a win tonight. It got a little crazy there in the fourth quarter. Utah cut it to 3, and felt like the Blazers were gonna give away this game, which they absolutely needed to win. But just thinking this the whole game, just win, just get a win, and it doesn't matter how ugly it is. Everyone's saying my audio.
Your audio is very quiet. Hopefully it's better now. Could just be the Google Meet. Let me try and fix this. You guys might see some stuff on the screen, but yeah, I don't really know how to fix it. I turned you up though. This should be better. Maybe turn up your mic a little bit, Eric. What we're gonna do here is
all the way.
Yeah, just a little bit more. It's at
100.
Yeah, is this better, chat? Let me know if this is good enough. Basically, Eric's going to solo stream. We don't have him on the collab cam because you guys know what the collab cam does. It will literally get rid of him. I'm going to be gone for like 30 minutes. Just wanted to intro this thing, set up the stream. Yeah, so I can turn Eric up. And this should be better. Swear he's quieter now. No, Eric, let's do a mic check.
Yeah, what I was saying was there we go. Game, I was just hoping that the Blazers would get a victory, and they did, and that's all that matters. We'll break it down how they got it and what happened and all that, but the bottom line is you did not want to go to the All-Star break, especially when you were up 17 or something and almost blew it. So that would have been a devastating loss. Thankfully didn't happen. The Blazers got the win, and we can go this next week plus on a positive note with hope that the Blazers can get healthy and have a good run here post All-Star break.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Maybe try leaving and then coming back, because this wasn't an issue pre-stream. It was fine pre-stream. I don't know what happened in between now and then, so we'll bring Eric back here. Get this set up and rolling. All right, let's try again.
Hello.
Okay, yeah, this should be a little bit better. Do a mic check now.
Mic check 1 2 1 2.
Alrighty. Turn you up a little bit. This should be good. But yeah, no Denny tonight. Scoot, turnover prone, but I like the way he's scoring. It's still not better. He's loud in my ears, and you guys hear what I hear, so that's what's a bit confusing for me.
I don't know, man.
Because you're loud in my ears. I don't really know.
Let me see if I can do something on Meet. Oh, yeah.
That might be the... Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out. It's so strange.
my mic volume's at 100. I don't know.
Yeah, you're loud in my ears. So, he's quiet. You're loud. Eric's quiet. Yeah, I know Eric's quiet. I'm trying to figure it out. Normally, this if a stream ever goes late, it's because we're making sure stuff like this is good. But like I can't turn them up. Strange. Okay. Let's. You want to just stay in the mute in the meet, and hop into Discord call? That might be the move. Let's do that. Mute in the meet, and then... Or we can collab cam it. We can risk it. We can risk it.
Yeah.
We'll risk it.
Let's do that.
We'll do the collab cam. See, I wish the collab cam, man. I wish it didn't have issues. But we'll collab cam it. Alrighty. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for bearing with us through the technical difficulties. If anybody's watching this back after the fact, for those of you that help us out and give the timestamps in the comment when the stream starts, you can give the timestamp of 13 minutes and 15 seconds. All right. There's your timestamp of when the stream starts. Thank you guys for tuning in with us live, though. We always appreciate those of you that tune in with us live. Blazers get a win heading into the All-Star break. Wasn't necessarily the prettiest win, but they do pull away and win by 16 against the team they were only 5.5-point favorites against. So I read some of the chats before the game. Seemed like people were a little frustrated with the Blazers not having an easier time in that first half, but I'm just happy that they pulled away in the second half and were able to get this win without Denny Avdia. Really, really solid performances from Drew Holiday and Donovan Klingan. Scoot scoring the ball well. Turnovers, got to clean that up, but that's a team-wide issue right now. We'll talk about all of it. We'll give grades at the end of the stream. Eric's going to solo stream for a bit, so that's what we have on tap for tonight. And then we plan on streaming the Rising Stars game tomorrow. We haven't done a watch party all year. We might as well hang out for a little bit for the Rising Stars game tomorrow. So if you guys can join us for that, that would be a lot of fun. We get to watch Young Hansen and Donovan Klingan at All-Star Weekend. Anyway, Eric's going to take this over. We're going to hope he does not get collab cammed. Fingers crossed. And good luck to us.
It's not possible, Michael, to turn my end up anymore. I'm sorry. I can literally send a screenshot. It's at 100. I keep double checking. It's at 100. So
yeah, it was an issue with the it was an issue with the Google Meet. Meet, you couldn't turn it up enough for whatever reason. So anyway, we're good now.
All right, what's up, everyone? Hope you're all having a good evening. Good to see the Blazers win. We'll break down everything that I want to talk about. What you guys were talking about in chat. So yeah, we'll get into that in a minute. But yeah, Klingan and Drew Holiday had really awesome games, and it's good to see, especially Drew, have his best scoring game as a Blazer, and the two of them to combine for 14 assists and 1 turnover, I think was huge in this game as well. Just really, really awesome performances from both of those guys. We got some other decent performances too. City Sissoko just burnt his last game. So the Blazers now have until March 4th is the cutoff date for converting a two-way contract to the actual roster. So we will see between now and then if the Blazers just sit him out until then and try to figure out something to do, or if they make a move over the All-Star break so that he's able to play on the actual roster starting with game 1. And then I believe Caleb has 5 games left on his. So depending on if they want to keep him or not. Now, with Scoot being able to play tonight on a back-to-back, I think that's a great sign. So I was really happy to see him not sit out this game. So you would think with the week off to get maybe into better basketball shape, and then coming out of the All-Star break, maybe the injury to Shaden changes the calculation a little bit. But as much as I think Caleb Love deserves to maybe get that spot on a roster, not sure if there's much for him post All-Star break short of injury. So they might just wait until they have to make a decision. But yeah, as of right now, I think they're just going to. I think they're going to make a move over the All-Star break to promote Sissoko, and then they're going to figure out the Caleb Love thing later on. But
And this is why we tried to do the Google Meet. This is
I'm
why
back.
we tried to do the Google Meet.
I'm back though. There we go. Yeah. This thing we use, I don't know why it always cuts out, but yeah, we tried to do a different thing and it didn't really work out. So hopefully it doesn't happen again. Knock on wood. That's horrible. Sorry. But yeah, Chris Murray will not be the guy cut. They picked up his option for next year. So the only way they're going to cut someone is if they have an expiring contract. So that's Repair and that's Thibault are pretty much the only options. Now that Dwop isn't on the roster either. So yeah. It's looking like it's those two if they promote both of them. But like I said, I'm not even convinced they will do anything with Caleb Love unless they absolutely have to. So yeah. Can Caleb be picked up by another team if we don't sign him before the break? No. He is a two. If you're on a two-way, you cannot be picked up. It's a little different than being on the G League team. He can play with the remix if they have games left, but no, he's not. He can't be picked up by another team. We're past the trade deadline, so he can't be traded either. Yeah. So, yeah, Blake Wesley is the only other one that they could possibly cut, and I don't see him. I don't know. Maybe they cut him, but I don't know. I'd be surprised if they did that. Metabolizer says, I thought I saw they agreed to buy out with Thibault. Did I dream that? You didn't dream that. There was someone who, I don't know how credible they were, but they did report that Portland and Thibault were close on a buyout about a week ago, but then the very next day, Thibault was seen on the bench in the game, and yeah, they have not made any message about that. So no, there has not been anything official on that front, but expect something to happen over the All-Star break, probably. Yeah, I mean, the Jazz, they obviously don't care about winning games. They just shut Jaren Jackson Jr. for the rest of the season. And then yeah, they didn't play several of their key guys tonight, but yeah. I saw some comments earlier about the Jazz. Like, if you were a Jazz fan, you would hate this. That might be true. It's just like most like casual fans and stuff like that. But the Jazz are in a tough position to where if they're in the top 8, I think it is, they keep their pick. If they fall out of the top 8, they lose their pick to the Oklahoma City Thunder. So we actually want them to tank. We don't want the Thunder to get like the 9th or 10th pick on top of the other picks they could get between the Clippers pick and other picks. So I think if you're like a true Jazz fan, you understand that and you recognize that it sucks to watch that product, but they have some young players that are still entertaining to watch. So I don't know, man. It would be tough. I mean, the Blazer fans, like we know how that is. The end of the seasons, like going on 4 seasons prior to this one, where we pulled the chute and had some disgusting lineups out there. But yeah, so Taylor's asking about how their Thunder got their hands on that pick. It was actually several years ago. It was Derek Favors, just a straight salary dump. So the Thunder took on Favors. I think they might have rehabilitated his value and gotten like a 2nd round pick or something to retrading him. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but yeah, it was heavily protected, and this is the first year it's got kind of lower protected, and there's even a chance they might lose it. But yeah, it's yep, that's what happens, and this is why I always lament the fact that the Blazers did not get in a position to do those kind of moves when they were rebuilding. So we had to tank, but our salary was always right up against the tax, so we couldn't do a lot of moves that the Thunder did to add assets that whole time. Yeah, okay. So did that with a lot of players, unfortunately. That's how they stockpiled so many picks. Yeah. Let's talk about the other thing I want to talk about from chat, and that is so you guys were having a conversation, or some of you were talking about how Donovan could have scored 50 points tonight and need to dominate and stuff like that. I've said this many times pretty early in his career. I need Donovan to develop some sort of go-to move in the post. But at the same time, there are certain players that are going to always do what they do well and aren't really ever going to dominate a game. Like, there's certain players, capable isn't the right word necessarily. But Donovan's just not the type of player who's going to hunt his shot enough to get 50 points. So I just, yes, he could improve to the point we could maybe look to get him the ball a little more when he's got a shorter guy on him or there's a mismatch. That's also been one of my beefs with the way Portland's played the last few years. They never seem to really care about mismatches. They just want to do their thing, whatever they want to do, and they don't really take a lot of times what the defense is giving them. But like, even if Donovan was like, okay, I'm gonna dominate this game tonight, it's still not gonna be 50 points. It's probably never gonna be 40 points either. Like, getting 30 from him is a huge game and probably like the extent of his capabilities. And it's not a knock on him. It doesn't mean he's a lesser player. You need players who do different things. You don't need everyone to be able to score 50 points. And I just think I'd rather have Donovan focus on the things he does well. I did also see that you guys were talking about, like maybe he doesn't dominate because that uses a lot of stamina or whatever. He's been awesome in second nights of back-to-backs lately. Like, I think the last one he played 35 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. It was at the Memphis back-to-back. And tonight he plays 31 minutes. You know, there's garbage time at the end, so he doesn't have to do that. But yeah, dude, he had a phenomenal game. I don't think it's fair to him to be like, oh, he should have scored 40 or whatever. It's just like he's not a guy who, like, he had 7 assists too. 7 assists. That's awesome. No turnovers. So like he was looking to pass. He's not going to hunt his shot. No matter how many minutes he plays, no matter what the situation is, he might have opportunities to score more like he did tonight, you know, but he's just not going to be the guy who does stuff. And that shouldn't be a negative for anyone, in my opinion. I mean, you're free to feel how you want, but and like I said, he can definitely improve and get a go-to move, be more aggressive at times when he gets the rebound and put it back up instead of kicking it out. Attack or seal a guy lower when you have a small guy on you. But those aren't things that are going to be like, oh yeah, this is Donovan's night. He's going to carry our offense or whatever. So, and while I agree that he probably should have gotten more than 12 shots tonight, I mean, it's hard to argue with his efficiency, and gets to the line 9 times. So part of that was he was getting fouled, so got to the line a lot. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't really get like feeling like he should have done a lot more in this game. Like, he did everything in this game. He was awesome on both ends. In the second night of a back-to-back, playing 31 minutes when a lot of people didn't even think he could play 30 minutes in one game, let alone on the second night of a back-to-back. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with Benjamin. A consistent hook shot. I mean, that should be simple for a 7-2 guy. He should have like a nice little just turn into the lane, get your inside shoulder into the defender, create a little space with his long arms and stuff. Being that big, he should easily have a nice little hook shot in the lane, like, or half hook. It feels like that would be really easy for him. Not really sure. It's always puzzling when a big man who's been, it's not like he was like a guard or something and grew 9 inches and became a center all of a sudden, you know. It's like I do struggle with the fact that, like, you know, you're pretty much a big man your whole life. Where is that development of a little, some sort of post move or something? But yeah, I mean, those are little things. I mean, he's working so hard to get those offensive rebounds. He's been a rebounding machine lately. I think there was like one game where he got 7 rebounds, but other than that, he's just been dominant on the boards. And yeah, just really good performance from him. The other thing I loved about Klingan, 1 3-point shot. So he only takes 12 shots, but 11 of them were inside the arc. So it's not like he was like floating around the perimeter shooting a bunch of threes this game. So that I like that. I don't mind him shooting occasional threes, or like, you know, a few games ago where he starts off hitting 3 in a row. Definitely let it fly a couple times, but I don't want it to be a thing where he's sacrificing getting inside, especially against a smaller lineup like tonight. And yeah, as Mark points out, they were on him on the perimeter. And that's an advantage in itself, right? If you're drawing a defender out there. Now, a part of that was because the Jazz were small. They could switch most stuff or trying to guard him with multiple people, so it didn't really matter. But in most games, most situations, if you can bring your guy out to respect that three-point shot enough, that's that gravity that this team has been missing. And they're starting to slowly get it to where other teams are having to respect them on the three-point line. Now, they didn't shoot well last night, but, come back with a nice night tonight. And, I'm fine with them letting a few fly, but I like tonight 11-1 shots inside the arc versus outside the arc. I think good things will happen when the ratio's like that. But yeah. Wizards beat OKC too. Wasn't it the Bucks that beat them? Oh, you're talking about before? Yeah. I didn't see how. I know Topish was making his NBA debut tonight, wasn't he? I didn't see how that went. Someone in chat, let me know. But yeah, the other guy tonight was Drew Holiday. Just great performance from him. 7 assists, 1 turnover, 31 points, the most as a Blazer so far. His first 30-point game as a Blazer. Just really good basketball from Drew tonight. 10 of 15 from the field. That's awesome, man. Those two, Donovan and Drew, combined for 54 points on 27 shots. Take that. 2 points per shot ratio. Yeah, other than the rebounds doubling up by Klingan, they both had 7 assists. But yeah, 9 rebounds for Drew. Both those guys flirting with a triple-double tonight. Donovan also had 3 blocks I didn't mention, so good there. But yeah, 4 for 8 from 3 for Drew. Just really, really solid game from him. It's nice to see him have a couple of good games in recent games after some of the fan base was starting to turn on him a little bit. But yeah, he had a lot of shots tonight, I guess. But that's good, right? It's good. John Nash says, I wonder if Drew's showing Scoot some good moves. Scoot's been watching all season, so Scoot did talk about that in one of his first interviews coming back. He did say that it'll help him moving forward to have that time to kind of watch how players are playing and look at it from a different perspective. But yeah. James says we beat a crap team trying to lose. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, yes, that's true, but at least we won. Because I mean, the Jazz almost came back and won this game. I don't know about you guys, but they went on a run. We had like a 16-point lead or something in the fourth quarter, and all of a sudden it was down to 3, and we called a timeout, and luckily we scored like I think Jeremy hit a basket, and then City hit a 3, I believe, to push it back up to 8. And from there, it was kind of okay. But, man, it really felt like we were just going to give away this game. And that would have been just a killer game to lose. So at least you won the game. You had some good performances. Feel good about. So, I mean, I don't know. What do you want us to do, James? Like, talk about how crappy of a win this was? Like, it wasn't the greatest win, but it counts as a win in the standings, and we need to bank as many wins as possible because we were in a very tight race for positioning there with the play-in games, and we couldn't have afforded to lose tonight. So, I mean, it does nothing to talk about how crap this team was and that they wanted to lose and stuff like that. But it's it's a win. They won. They won by 16 going away there. Had some garbage time. But yeah. And, you know, they didn't have Denny. They didn't have Shea. So it's always, I don't think you should ever complain about winning when they don't have those guys. Raymond Falk says, do we even want to win? Man. Once again, you are free to think however you want. But I can tell you 100% without a doubt, there is zero chance the Blazers are trying to tank on purpose right now. They're 100% focused on making the play-in at the very least. They're 100% focused on getting into position for that. There's no way you trade for a guy like Drew Holiday and you play guys like Drew and Jeremy big minutes if you're trying to lose games. Like, come on. And they can make the play-in and still keep the lotto pick. This isn't a case to where they could like screw themselves over by winning. Yeah, if they make the playoffs, they do. But it also kind of helps them if they lose the pick this year. And it hurts because it's a good draft. They could probably add another rotation player or something if they hit on the draft pick. But they could have a draft like last year too and reach for someone that doesn't really help them next year. So it's just it is beneficial to lose that pick. And just in case someone doesn't know, if they make the playoffs, that would mean either get to the 6th seed, which I don't think is happening, but or win the play-in for the 7-8, or win the 9-10 play-in and then beat the 7 or 8 loser and make the playoffs as either the 7th or 8th seed, then their pick would go to Chicago back from the Larry Nance trade several years ago. And the issue with that being like, okay, if that happens, is because if they don't convert that pick next year, if it doesn't convert this year, then we have a problem in 2028 where if the Bucks no longer have Giannis, or maybe he's hurt or something and they're horrible, and we have a pick swap with them, but then we possibly make the playoffs and lose our pick that year, then we go to a situation where we don't get the Bucks. Like, it could be the number 1 pick or something. So we could lose that. So I don't think it's like the worst thing to necessarily lose the pick. Now, do I want to add a lottery pick this year? Yeah, absolutely. But I don't think we should be like crying if we make the playoffs and accomplish one of our goals this year, and then have that to talk about now, how we now free up all our future picks. It frees up a couple more picks for us to trade in moves too.
What is chat on tonight? There's some wild narratives that I'm hearing you rightfully argue back against. I don't know. I feel like I'm forgetting one or two of them, but just refresh what you've just talked about the last 30 minutes, because there's multiple things I wanted to touch upon, and my mind's kind of swimming right now.
Well, we touched upon the Klingan, needs to dominate and score 50 points, I guess.
He's an opportunistic scorer. He's not somebody that's going to take a game over offensively, and that's fine. And I wanted to make this point. Like, if he's playing against a good rim-protecting big, I like him spacing a little bit more if he can drag that big away from the paint and neutralize that rim protection threat, right? Against a small lineup like the Jazz played today, I like him being aggressive on the interior when the opportunities present themselves, and he scored 23 points today. He played really good today. Like, he's also still 21, so, bigs take time to develop, so be patient with him. Like, he's a solid starting center right now. He's playing some good basketball in the month of February. We shouldn't be complaining that he doesn't score 50 points in a game. That's not all there is to basketball. Like, I feel like a lot of people care too much about how many points a player scores. Obviously, it's important, but he was efficient today, rebounded the ball today, protected the rim today, like, did everything, passed the ball today, didn't turn it over. It's a pretty flawless game. So, second half of back-to-back, every point you made, pretty flawless game. What was the other arguments?
There was the Blazers trying to tank. There was.
What makes anybody think this team's trying to tank?
I don't know.
Like, why do you guys think this team's trying to tank? They're clearly being careful with injuries. Like, Denny is clearly not 100%. We saw him get injured. Like, he's not faking it. So they're not playing him on the second half of back-to-back before the All-Star break. It doesn't mean they're trying to lose. It just means they're being careful with the guy who's not healthy.
Yeah. And there was something before I talked about Klingan, but I don't remember what it was. But there was also that this was Jazz are trying to lose. This wasn't a good win or whatever.
Oh, that was the other one. That was the other one. Dude, oh my goodness. Like, here's the thing. You could say there's no such thing as a bad win in terms of what goes on your record. Okay? Yeah. You can criticize a win in terms of... Well, no, here's my point. Here's my point. A win is a win on the record, okay?
Yeah.
And this was a win they absolutely had to have. Even if it was completely ugly, we should be very happy that they won this game. This would have been a devastating loss heading into the break. This was a very, very important game to win. And yeah, they struggled in the first half. It looked like it could be a nail-biter. And they win going away after a big third quarter. Like, that's good. That's good. Now, we can talk about how they need to fix their turnovers. There's things to improve upon. There's bad things that happen even in wins like this. Absolutely. But I don't really understand coming in here talking about the Blazers, who were 5.5-point favorites today, and they win by 16, and we're sitting here like, not a good win. The Jazz are trying to lose. When the Jazz just won 2 games in a row, they literally just beat the Heat, and then they beat the Kings by like 25 yesterday. I forget what the final score was, but they were up like 100-64. I brought it up on last night's postgame show. They were destroying the Kings, right? And the Kings are also tanking, but like this team is not as bad as the Kings. Like they have some pieces. Even tonight, Sid Markkanen, like Bryce Sensabaugh can score the ball. You know, it's obviously a bad team, but the Blazers were missing Denny Avdija, and we've seen the Blazers without Denny Avdija play some horrific basketball this year. So that's where happy about the win. And that's that.
I mean, it's not like, I don't think you can read it into anything. Like, we're not going to sit here and say, oh, the Blazers have turned a corner, they're ready to dominate the second half or anything like that. But this was the type of game. Remember a few years ago, the Warriors, like, this might have been more than a few years ago. That's how much time flies. But there's always, like, we play the Warriors, like, the game before the All-Star break, and we'd beat them. And it would be, like, a really good win. But you could just tell the Warriors were already checked out and weren't into the game, you know. And those were, like, really good Warrior teams, too. And so, like, sometimes these weird games, like around Christmas, sometimes it happens too, like the game before and after Christmas. This game right before the All-Star break, there's just certain games in the season that can have like a weird flow to them, a weird vibe. And you just want to escape with a win. And I don't really think it matters who you're playing or what. Just go into the All-Star break with a win. You're right there in the standings with the Clippers. Just maintain base and just throw away the game. Don't even care about what happened as long as you got the win. But I don't think there's anything you can really build upon on this game other than it was nice to see some players play well. But it's just get a win, man. That's all that matters right now. And after losing last night, tonight became really critically important to win, in my opinion. They had the losing streak before the 2 Memphis wins, and then I forgot who they beat on Monday. Oh, Philly. So they won 3 in a row. Well, lost 5 or 6 in a row, and then won 3 in a row, and then lost to Minnesota. It would have been bad losing twice going in there. So, man, I get it. This isn't like a game where you're like, oh my God, the Blazers played so good, we're so awesome or whatever. But at the same time, I don't think we should be like focused or hyper focused on the Jazz suck or whatever. They've been playing hard and they're well coached and it's a tough out even when they're trying to tank. Like they've had to really try hard to lose games and that's how well they've been playing in some of these games to where it's been obvious. And just a side note, man, did you hear this? The Thunder that's been complaining about the tanking teams, including the Jazz, because they want to get their pick, and so they've been the ones like talking to the league office about how something needs to be done about
screw
tanking.
the Thunder, screw off. That's the last team that's like,
right?
Why are you complaining about anything? You have. You know what that's like to me? That's like the billionaire complaining about the lower class man that's trying to get, a little help from the government. Like, dude, you're a billionaire, all right? Like, not even try, I guess that's kind of a political analogy for those people that don't, want us to go into that. But you know what I mean? It's like, dude, you're the defending champs. Why are you complaining about a team that's out here struggling? They're struggling, and they're trying to do whatever they can to stop struggling, and you're the defending champs with 1 million first-round picks and the best young core ever, and you're sitting here complaining to the league about it. That's the vibe it gives off. That's annoying. Screw OKC, man.
Is your theory that, like, if you're, let's just say, like, the richest person in the world and get billions of dollars in subsidies, that you complain about someone getting $100 for food stamps? Or
yeah,
something?
basically, yeah. Because guess what? If the Clippers were sitting a bunch of guys, they wouldn't be incentivized to. But, like if it was the Clippers doing this just because, and the OKC has their unprotected pick, they wouldn't be complaining about it. They wouldn't be sitting here complaining. They're like, oh, we could get Derek Peterson with this core.
They were complaining when the Clippers suck.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just kind of silly.
But okay, so it's not the Jazz fault that you've allowed them to have the protections to be top 8. Like you negotiated that. So if you were the Thunder did the same thing. That's the problem. Like they would have done the exact same thing if they were in the Jazz position. They would do everything they could to not be higher than 8th, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's silly. Anyway.
Let me get one thing clear, though. So the Jazz players are not tanking. The players are not. They have been playing their butts off. Several of them have played really well. Some of them had some off nights tonight, but they're not out there like, oh, I gotta miss this shot, so we gotta keep our draft pick. None of the players care about that. They're playing where on the court. That's like an organizational decision to like sit guys and bench guys in the middle of the second half so they don't win. But there has never been a player, outside of like these gambling allegations, I guess, but there's never been a player who was like, oh, I'm gonna suck in the fourth quarter so we get a better chance at the 7th odds instead of the 8th
Yeah.
odds, so we keep our pick. Like, none of these players give a crap about that. Like, they're all out there trying to fight for their next contract and stuff like that. There's no way they're doing anything like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to go here for probably 10, 15 minutes. When I'm back, I want to talk about Scoot. And I want to talk about the turnovers. And
Yeah, you got static.
do I got static? My phone's not even that close. Yeah, when I'm back, I want to talk about Scoot. I want to talk about the turnovers. As a team, and Scoot had 6 today, so I want to talk about those as well. 4 from Jeremy, 4 from Tamani. Not pretty. 21 is a team. So it's rough being the worst 3-point shooting team and the worst team in terms of taking care of the ball. Somehow we're not a bottom 10 offense and adjusted offensive rating. Just imagine if we were average at taking care of the ball and shooting threes. We'd probably be a top 10 offense. So, I mean, this is actually an optimistic thing. There's so much room for improvement in those 2 areas. And the offense is like close to average in adjusted offensive rating. So, there's upside there if you can figure things out. But I have some thoughts that I will share when I'm back. But I'll be here to fix the collab cam, FYI. So, anyway.
All right, while you're gone, and hopefully you can give your thoughts on this when you get back, but I want to talk about a little certain letter that was sent out to season ticket holders today.
Oh, yeah. I have no idea what you're talking about, so we should wait until I'm back for that one. Unless you want to talk about it now, maybe I can stay for 2 minutes. If it's a 2-minute conversation.
I'll just wait, I guess.
Yeah. Because I have no idea what you're talking about, and I won't look it up. Yeah. All right. I'll be back soon.
All right. All right. Yeah, we'll talk about that later, I guess. But yeah. Let's talk about some other players. Tamani had 14 points, 8 rebounds. Like Tori said, though, 4 turnovers from both him and Jeremy. But Tamani 4 for 7. Had been Tamani shooting the lights out again. Yeah. Outside of the turnovers, it was an all right game from him. Just obviously when you're not the main ball handler or primary ball handler, you shouldn't be having 4 turnovers in a game. Jeremy, 4 turnovers, 7 of 17 from the field, 2 for 8 from 3. He did make some big shots in the 4th quarter when we needed him to, but yeah, not the greatest game from him when you factor in those 4 turnovers, but at least he handles the ball a little bit more than Tamani. Caleb Love, like I mentioned earlier, now has 5 games left before he's ineligible to play unless they do something. He ends up going 4 for 12 and 3 for 8 from 3. I think, if I'm not mistaken, all 11 of his points came in the into 3rd, early 4th range, right? So I believe he was over in the first half. Was not playing well in the first half. Maybe he made a basket that I'm forgetting about. But second half, he had a stretch where he hit multiple threes and had a layup. Really hit some big shots to kind of fend off that run, or as we built the lead back up. Veets, still 2 for 6 from 3. Still not shooting the 3 great. 2 for 3 inside the arc, though. Still am intrigued by his drives. 2 assists, 1 turnover. Had some nice plays in this game, but still waiting on. 2 for 6 isn't terrible. It's 33%, but if you hit one more, it's 50%. So it's not like he's that far off from being a good shooter. But hopefully once the All-Star break's over and hopefully Denny's playing more, we can use him a little bit more for spacing versus having to make some plays. We'll talk about Scoot when Torrey comes back, but he had 15 points tonight, a 4 for 6 shooting, 2 for 4 from 3. He got to the line 6 times, had 4 assists. The bad negative with Scoot, there's been an issue now for a couple games, 6 turnovers. We'll get more into that when Torrey comes back. Ryan Repair plays 16 minutes in this game. He only has 2 points, 1 of 4 shooting. So, 2 turnovers as well. Like I was talking about with Tamani, like you just can't, as like a into the bench guy who's barely in the rotation, you can't come in and get 2 turnovers. It just really hurts. And then Blake Wesley came in, but then only plays 4 minutes. He had 1 3. I believe that was an air ball, right? I think maybe Klingan cleaned it up and put it back in, or someone put it back in. But air ball was not good. And y'all came in the second half, or the first half. I mean, did he play in the second half? I don't remember if he came in garbage time or not. I mean, he looked pretty rough in those minutes. It's tough when there's no Robert Williams, and this is the problem with if Robert Williams is our long-term backup center, if he's not able to play in back-to-backs or misses games. It's almost like the Blazers need 4 centers right now with Young, because it's not. Like I said, this has nothing to do with how he could develop in the future or what, but it's just he's not gonna help you win games. In fact, he's probably be better on a team like Utah where they're trying to lose right now. He could come in and help be the tank commander or whatever. But it's just I don't think you can afford to play him too much, and that's why he only plays a couple minutes there and then has to get subbed out. And we have to go small. So between Klingan and Hansen, they play 34 minutes. So, almost 14 minutes of this game, we didn't have a center in there. So, I have to play small a lot. Luckily, the Jazz didn't have a center tonight either. But there's the thing. We talked about this with Klingan. Now, Young is a guy who I think you could like post him up and he could maybe score against smaller guys and see like a boost of scoring if I'm talking like best case scenario. But he's just not ready yet. And hopefully at some point in the future, he'll be capable of giving us some minutes, but I do not think that's happening anytime soon, unfortunately. But as Marv said, if we were tanking, he'd be getting 25 plus minutes. Those teams with like Drew Eubanks and CJ Ellaby and those guys, he'd be a lot of fun to watch on those teams. But right now, it's the Blazers tried to get away with playing him in this game. The Blazers were up 11 or 12 or something in the first quarter. I forget. Chat can help me out. They were up like 11 or 12 in the first quarter, and then by the end of the quarter, they were down 3. and it was just like a horrendous run. And so like, yeah, it's rough. You put him in hoping you could just buy a few minutes, give us 5 minutes in the first half, 5 minutes in the second half, and you can go small a few minutes, and hopefully that can work out. But it's not working, man. Yeah. And I saw a question earlier, how did he make the Rising Stars game? It's to get the Asian market for the All-Star game. I mean, there's no doubt about it. He was chosen as a G League player, but he hadn't even played that many games in the G League, and he did have some good games. But I mean, there's players killing it down in the G League who've played way more games and have much more consistent and stuff. That it was purely a viewership decision by the NBA to put him on that team. And since he's a Blazer, screw it, we'll support him, right? And be happy he was chosen. But if he's not from a huge market like China, there's no way they're picking him. Like, he wouldn't even be on the list to be considered to be in that game. So that we saw his effect, like Summer League, the most watched ever. One of his G League games was like one of the most watched G League games ever. And so yeah, I mean, it's understandable what the NBA is doing. But yeah, he did not get that on merit, basically. It's so prestigious guy says so it's racist. It's not racist. It's a huge market, and they have absolutely shown out to support him when he's played in the G League, like I said, or Summer League. And so you factor that into an all-star game, and it's just, I mean, who cares who's on the team? Like, no one is going to be upset that the 8th best G League player didn't get into the game. So it's just, I mean, I don't know if it's smart business, but it was purely a business decision. Yeah, it's like Shady says, it's an exhibition. So, but yeah, just throw him out there. Like, it's fun. Hopefully he puts on a show. I do think, like a game like that where, you can maybe have some fun out there. He does some fun things sometimes. So it's not like he's, in terms of like winning games, it's tough to watch sometimes, but like just in terms of entertainment value, if you're just like, oh yeah, let's see what he can do next. Like, he's not the worst player to like watch in that regard, So I think like this might be kind of a fun experience. It is kind of crazy that game is tomorrow, though. So, like, Klingan has to play after 31 minutes on the second night of back-to-back. He's going to go play in the Rising Stars tomorrow. And, yeah. Kenneth says Young won't be good this year. Give him 2 years to be a very good player. I mean, I know sports is like projecting and predicting, and it's fun to like see a player and notice him. Like, Tori and I talk about scouting all the time, so it's so fun to like have a guy that's your guy, like your gem, and then you see him develop or whatever. But I mean, you can't just say, oh, he's not good now, but wait, he's going to be really good in 3 years. Like, who the heck knows that? Like, no one No one knows that, and he's given no indication that he'll be capable of doing anything consistently in like 5 to 10 years, let alone 3 years. Like, no one really knows that. So it's tough. But yeah, I mean, I don't mind like saying like, yeah, I still have a feeling that he'll develop into a good player. But like, let's not like act like we're gonna for sure have some awesome guy in 3 years. Like, we don't know. Raymond says, wasn't Repair your guy? No, not really.
Yeah, that was neither of our guys. Speaking of,
I was fine with
Repair.
Repair, like drafting him in the middle of the second round. I thought that was a good pick. Like at that point, you know, it's even if he doesn't pan out, that's good value there. I mean, maybe not with like you could have just drafted City or you could have drafted Tomani there instead. But just in terms of taking a chance on a guy who a lot of people were high on, I didn't mind the pick, but he was never like my guy.
Since Chat brought up Ryan Repair was showing more flashes his rookie season than Young is.
Yeah.
And what's happened with Ryan Repair? You can't just say, oh, because this player is only 20 years old, it doesn't matter how he looks right now because he has plenty of time. He'll be good one day. You could apply that to literally any 20-year-old, even if they've never played basketball. You could say they're just 20. Doesn't matter what they look like right now on the floor. They could be good. Like, what he's showing now does matter. He's showing that he is so far away that I don't think he gets there. Like, it's unfortunate. It's an unfortunate reality. But what skill is even close to being average NBA level other than the passing than a passer there? And he's the same. What's up?
Yeah, the static.
Okay, is this better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Much better.
Like, you can just see it. Like, there's some players where you can just see it, man. And he's one of those players you can just see it. Like, doesn't move well. Can get picked on defensively as a big. That's already a big no-no. Like, you got to be truly special offensively if you get picked on the way that he's probably going to get picked on throughout his whole career. He doesn't make threes. He can pass a little bit, but okay. And then, like, what bench player? Like, what player? It's not 2005 in terms of low post stuff. And he had one post up today, and he airballed a 4-foot hook. He gets pushed off his spot way too easily. He travels all the time. He has slow reflexes. Like, I hate bagging on the guy. Like, I'm rooting for the kid. He's a great kid. Like, if he heard me say this, I would probably feel pretty bad. But I'm also not gonna lie. Like, this is what I see. So, you know, I'd love for him to develop, and I'd love for him to become somebody that I don't foresee him becoming. Truly, truly do. But sometimes you can just see it, man. And I will say I have a pretty good track record of not buying the hype on players with upside that people tell me are going to be good and have all this potential and then never amount to anything. People did it with Mario Hezonja. People did it with Cam Reddish when we traded for Cam Reddish. And I was the Cam Reddish hater that pissed off all the Cam Reddish fans. But sometimes you got to take off the rose-colored glasses and just look at what's in front of you.
If I was looking for something to like give me hope and think that maybe he can figure it out, right now the thing I would point to is his free throw shooting has been awesome. He's shooting 94.4% from the free throw line. I think on around 20 attempts or so. I think he's only missed one this year. So that shows to me he's got good touch on his shot, maybe. And hopefully that can amount to something down the line. I'm just saying, like, if I was going to look at something, say, like, maybe there's still some shooting potential for him to figure out his 3-point shot being good from the line as a big man. Yeah.
The inclination as a Blazer fan is to believe in a player like this and ignore what you see right now. I get it. But that inclination is the same inclination that when the Blazers trade for Cam Reddish, people were convincing themselves this is a move for Dame. Cam Reddish has all this potential. He could be a part of
That's Paul George.
Paul George comparisons, looking at his college highlights, right? Like, oh man, he's 6'8" and moves that smoothly. Like, it's the same inclination that leads you astray over and over and over again with a lot of young players where you're convincing yourself that they're going to be something that, like when we got Cam Reddish, it was pretty clear that he wasn't going to amount to anything as an NBA player. And I was sitting here telling people it's pretty clear. Same people were saying, you don't know. Yeah, he's in year 4 or year 5 or whatever it was, but he's still only, 23 years old. He still has plenty of time. It was the same people doing it with Ayton. And I was saying, no, this is who Ayton is. Torrey, he's only, 23 years old when we got him? He's only 23 years old. He was drafted number 1 for a reason. He has all this upside. Look how athletic he is. Look how skilled he is. He just needs the right situation. That's what people told me. And I sat here like, okay, I'm hopeful. Maybe. Fingers crossed, but I'm not that hopeful. And what's he done? Same thing he did in Phoenix. Then he goes to LA. And LA fans were sitting there saying, oh man, Luka's going to unlock him. He just didn't want to play for a losing team in Portland, despite not wanting to play for a winning team in Phoenix. We're gonna fix him. LeBron's gonna fix him. Luka's gonna fix him. Then he starts off the season, has a couple good games. See, we're gonna fix him. And now it's, oh, I see what you guys were saying. Yeah, he's doing it here too. Third spot, doing it too. Like, there's one thing for being hopeful, and there's one thing for just kind of like ignoring things. And, people do it with Ayton, people do it with Reddish. Like, I feel like, yeah, maybe Young figures it out, but it's really, really hard to be that hopeful right now.
Yep. So I saw someone, Ray Petro says they should play him 10 to 15 a game to spell Klingan and get some experience, coach him up, don't let him run on the bench. They can't right now. They cannot. I mean, you saw how bad it was in just 3 minutes tonight. Like they cannot afford to play him those minutes and be a play-in team. It just, unfortunately for Young, this isn't the right situation to just get him developmental minutes right now. And I don't even know if it's helping that much on the floor. There's so many things off the floor he can do to help himself too. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be back in 5.
Yeah, but also the flashes. So I see that in chat. Like, well, he shows flashes or whatever. But, like, his passing, like, okay. But he was not – his assist-to-turnover ratio in the Chinese league was terrible. So, like, that's against way lesser competition. He wasn't a good passer. Now, maybe he can develop that a bit. Like, that's the hope, right? Some of his post-up moves, yeah, they're like he finishes sometimes. Like he shows some good footwork sometimes. Other times it looks really sloppy and he travels and stuff like that. But yeah, he's just, I don't know. He doesn't have anything that you can point to for sure. And like, he was supposed to be this 3-point shooter and he's shot terrible in the NBA so far. He only shot 27% from 3 in China. So he's not a shooter until he proves otherwise. So just because he makes a 3 or has a nice pass every once in a while, that's just ignoring all the turnovers that come when he tries to do it other times, So, but yeah, hopefully he can develop over the years. But I don't know if throwing him out there and just having him get abused, especially by a team with no center tonight. Like, I don't know. And I'm usually for letting guys learn on the fly like that. But if he's still not understanding the communication part of it and stuff like that, like there's just so many things you could do to help him with that other than just getting minutes. I don't know if that's like the worst or the best thing to do for his situation. James sounding like Dwight Jaynes in chat right now. So like Myers could shoot. He's comparing him to a worse version of Myers Leonard. Myers was athletic and could shoot. Early in his career, he had a shoulder problem, but he had um, it was either near or he did have a 50-40-90 shooting thing. So you could look to that and be like, wow, this guy isn't really great on defense or never does anything inside, but he can shoot the ball at least. Like you can't even say that about Young yet. Yeah. But no, like Tori said, very, very good kid. He seems smart. We'll see if he becomes a shooter. Yeah. I think the right mindset is there. Like I see his mindset. He's not good enough to do the things he sees in his mind, like maybe that catches up at some point. Hopefully that's just something that takes time to slow down for him. But you can definitely tell like he thinks he sees stuff that's not there. I don't know, he just needs to, but like shooting shouldn't be something that he's getting some wide open shots, and I know not all the big man hit him or whatever, but yeah. Samos is maybe actually losing weight instead of gaining weight and being quicker. I don't think he's ever going to be that type of athlete. He doesn't have the physical tools other than being tall. So that certainly helps because you can't change height. But I don't know. He doesn't really have anything other than that. Height and mind, I'd say, is what his positives could be. But I don't think you're ever going to get him lean and quick enough to be fast. Yeah, I don't know. Like Yao Ming was, everyone said his legs were like tree trunks. Like they were like, he was like super solid. Even like Shaq talks about how hard he was to move, and it doesn't seem like that, but yeah. We'll see. Got a lot of work to do. We'll see if he puts in the work this summer and how that looks and stuff. So
I just gotta say, comment in chat. I don't know if this is being sarcastic or not, but basically saying you never know, off-brand Joker could be a ceiling. I feel like people, when they make any sort of Jokic comp, it seems to be like comments like that. Do you not understand what makes Jokic good? Like Jokic coming into the league, he was coordinated, he played on balance, he was sturdy, and he had really good feel for the game. I can't say any of those things about Young at all. Jokic was a better shooter coming into the league. He was a more skilled player, had much better footwork. Like so many intangible things that completely separate him from pretty much a lot of bigs, but especially Young. Like, it's just this silly comparison. It's like, oh, I saw this dude throw a fancy pass and a highlight, and then he made a three, and then he dribbled the ball and went behind his back. Maybe he could be Jokic. Like, that's all there is, you know?
Maybe.
Yeah. So, Jokic had intangible traits, like so many intangible traits that made him a special player today. The Blazers expected 0 from him, according to a certain media member. It was going to be enough just to learn blah 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 next year development stats. Who knows? Well, they lied. They lied. They hyped him up like he was going to be a guy that could play some minutes this year.
They sat there and told us that they felt comfortable putting him in a game day one. Now, you can chalk that up to GM speak or whatever, but they don't get to now say, this was always a developmental guy. Like, we were never expecting anything from day one from him, when they literally said, I feel comfortable, Chauncey Billups, going in a game right away, day one.
So something that drives me crazy is like a big defense of the NBA, of the front office is basically like, oh, well, they weren't being truthful. You shouldn't hold them accountable. They weren't being truthful. As a defense for the front office. It's the same thing with Scoot. 8-week return to basketball activities. Like, oh, secretly they knew it was going to be much longer. So, chill out. Like, that's the attitude. That's the attitude. They're like, okay, shouldn't we have an issue with them just blatantly lying? Like, it's crazy to me that, like, they'll say one thing and the fans are like, okay, you think he's going to be able to play some minutes this year? All right, I'm expecting him to be able to play some minutes this year. And then when he plays, he's a disaster, and fans are like, what the hell? Like, I thought this guy was going to be better than this. The rebuttal shouldn't be, oh, why'd you believe them? That's on you. You know? Like, that's insane to me.
Yeah. Here's the other thing, too, Tori. How many times are you going to let one person or one organization give that excuse? It's the same with like the trade stuff we talk about. It's kicking the can down the road so they don't have to answer anything tough right now, right? That's all you have to say about any player ever is, oh, we still project him to be good in the future. And like, just wait until he gets a year under this coaching staff or a year in our system or you know, an off season where he's not injured, you know, like, yeah, that's what they try to sell you that crap all the time. And that's fine if you want to buy it. That's totally fine if you still believe in Jan Hansen. I still hope that he can develop into something, but it's crap. They're trying to make it so they don't have to face any criticism right now. It's always, oh, don't worry, this trade is coming in the offseason, and then nothing happens in the offseason, and it's like, no, we're going to make a move by the trade deadline, and then it's like, no, we didn't make a move, but we set ourselves up to do something big this offseason, and then nothing big happens, and you know, like it's the same way with the players. Like they're setting you up to always have hope that this will turn out well. And like I said, that's totally fine if you're the type of person who wants to believe in that and wants to be.
I just don't know why you just keep buying lies, though.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
To be honest, like you can keep buying lies. Like, you can keep being misled. That's how I feel about it. Like, it's pretty clear. Yeah. It's pretty clear that there's been some misleading things over the years, and if you bought into it and can't look back at it like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have bought into it, or maybe that was a little bit misleading. Like, if you can't have that sort of awareness, like, all right, that's fine. Keep doing you, I guess. But like, one of their biggest excuses, like, man, we weren't expecting anything from him this year. You know, he has to learn the language. Learning the language isn't why he's
missing an open three. Yeah.
Learning the language isn't why he's 5 for 37 from 3. Learning the language isn't why he airballed a 4-foot hook shot today. Learning the language isn't why he catches the ball at the top of the arc and takes like 4 steps. Right? Learning terminology in terms of like stuff happening on the floor, sure, yeah. There may be mistakes that he makes during a game because he's struggling to understand what's happening on the floor because he's struggling to understand terminology. But it's not why he's missing threes. It's not why he's airballing 4-foot hook shots. He doesn't need to know English to catch the ball at the top of the arc and not travel. He knows what a travel is. Or maybe he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. Like, it's not why he's struggling to move around on the floor defensively. Like, it's such a silly thing to just use that excuse to excuse everything. Sure, there's some things that struggling to know the language could explain, but it doesn't explain everything. And people just, let's just ignore all that because, hey, he's learning the language. It's silly to me. It's silly to me. Chase says you can't freak out. Either way, he's 20. He will either develop and be a factor or will wash out in 3 years. Then a fair assessment will be made. I mean, nobody's freaking out. I freaked out when we drafted him and then moved on. Like, I won't freak out again. Maybe I have a moment where I'm like, why? I will amplify frustration from time to time for entertainment purposes. But it's always when I'm feeling frustrated. Like, he is what he is. I would easily take the bet that in 3 years it's not looking good compared to being like a major factor on a winning Blazer team. I think, unfortunately, that's just the way I see it. And I will sit here and explain why I see it that way over and over again. And the rebuttal was just like, hey, he's still 20. Maybe he could be good in 3 years. Like, that's it. It's not even based off of anything he's doing right now. Like, that's the thing. If he was doing some good things, then people would be saying, hey, man, he's doing this, he's doing that. So, maybe in 3 years he can build upon that and be this type of player. No, it's like, he's struggling with this, he's struggling with this, he's struggling with this. Man, I don't see it. Hey, Tori, he's only 20. Maybe in 3 years he might be good. That's it. Like, it's not even based on any flashes or any plays. Like, that's the thing. That's kind of how in my opinion. So, like, I'm sure people will be frustrated by my opinion on this, but for me, like, it's separating what I see and what I truly think from the emotion of it all. Like, obviously I'm rooting for him. Obviously I want him to be good. Seems like a great kid. But I'm not going to sit here and make up what I think because I think he's a great kid or because I'm rooting for him. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm going to analyze things as a matter of factly and remove my emotion as a fan from it. And there's other people that also have emotion as a fan and they hear the criticism and that emotion becomes anger at me. All right, because I'm too critical of this player, that player, etc. So yeah. Anyway, I don't know if you have anything to add, but I'm kind of through with the nonsense talk. Let's talk Scoot.
Let's.
I really like the way he's scoring the ball right now. Obviously, the last 2 games, turnovers haven't been pretty. The first 2, he had 16 assists, 7 turnovers. Now on the season, he has, let's see here, 22 assists and 18 turnovers. So getting pretty close to 1-to-1, which like isn't great for a point guard. Some of it's an issue, but in 4 games back, Eric, he looks better than I thought he would. Like, I thought he was going to be rusty and there was going to be a period of time where he's going to have to figure it out. But tonight, he had, let me go back to the box score. In 20 minutes, he had 15 points. He is averaging basically 14 points per game in 20 minutes a game. His true shooting percentage going into this game, I don't know what it is after, but was 67%. Obviously, super small sample size. But, like, these 4 games, we're gonna be able to include his first 4 games of the season. Sorry, I had to make that joke. But, yeah, like, he's super efficient, scoring the ball super well, It's kind of like, man, if he's played 36 minutes a game right now or something like that. Once he gets healthy, he's playing starters. If he's able to score like this, how high volume of a scorer can he be efficiently? It has me wondering. Obviously, small sample size, but I expected him to struggle during these games. So seeing the way he's scoring the ball is awesome. Needs to take better care of it, but per 36, he's 25 a game right now, efficiently in his first 4 games. Obviously, 2 games against Memphis, a game against Utah. The opponent is, the opponents are easier, but he scored the ball well against Minnesota as well. So his jumper looks really good right now. His jumper looks clean. He kind of got rid of that hitch that we used to talk about with his shooting elbow. His balance is good. He looks like a legit shooter. So I really love the scoring. We'll get into the turnovers, but I want to start there. Obviously, the turnovers were a negative today, and I want to kind of discuss some of those turnovers. But what do you think of the scoring today? And the scoring is first 4 games of the season.
Yeah, so my thing is, Scoot, when you're projecting him coming into the draft, it would be someone who could pressure the rim, hopefully finish at the rim, and then, also use those situations to pass if the shot's not there. So he's finally showing an ability to finish on those drives that he hadn't really done well with his first couple of years. And if he can continue that, and that combined with how you mentioned his shot mechanics, he obviously put in work to fix those. So those 2 things, I think, and you see his vision, you see the way he passes, the way he looks for teammates in certain situations. So yeah, he doesn't. I mean, we'll talk about turnovers, but just the shooting part of it, I like how he's getting to his shots at the rim. I like that he's making a higher percentage of them than he has in his first couple seasons, and then that combined with an actual decent looking jump shot, I think is a really good sign for his ability to put in work to fix the things he needs to fix. And then I mean, the other stuff, getting into the turnovers.
Well, I want to finish talking about the score before I get to the turnovers. I will say, because I want to follow up kind of your point about the driving and finishing. His rookie year, he just tried to race everybody to the rim and win that race, and it was awful. It was awful. What I've seen from him in his first 4 games, he's doing a really good job of picking his spots to attack. Where he came into the league where it was everything. He's just trying to race downhill 100 miles an hour. So he's playing a lot smarter and doing a good job of picking his spots to attack. And, he had that drive where I forget who sealed off the defender. It was in the first half. But you know what drive I'm talking about, where he kind of drove right across the lane, big man sealed the defender.
Yeah, I don't remember who that was on, but... Yeah,
but that play is year 1, he's just going 100% and probably running into the defender that's being screened. That play, he started to drive, kind of hesitated, let the play develop, and then hit the seam. Which I know kind of seems like something very basic maybe, but it's the change of pace, and it's just the reading the floor and choosing your spots to attack. And then, he's finished the ball well. He had that really impressive reverse against Anthony Edwards against Minnesota where, the whole right side of the floor opened up, so he used that to kind of get under the backboard, use the rim to shield the ball in reverse. That plus how good the jumper looks right now. He struggled his first couple of games, but the form looks really good. I buy him as at least a league average shooter, but I do think he has potential to become a 37-38% three-point shooter. He's not going to be a guy that takes crazy threes, but the rhythm on his pull-up 3 looks good right now. So the scoring stuff is really, really promising.
Absolutely.
And then I want to go over like every turnover he had. I don't know if you want to give thoughts before I like kind of break this down, but if you have thoughts to lead us in
on turnovers.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really hoping that this is where the rust is showing. But at the same time, he has had this issue in the past, so it is the one thing. As he's fixed other areas of his game, this is the one thing that he needs to clean up to ultimately be the point guard he could be. But it seems like, I don't know. It seems like there are some adjustments he can make to not turn the ball over as much, and I feel like he could be fine ultimately.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was fine his first 2 games. He has 16 assists, 7 turnovers, right? Like that's fine. Like naturally, as a guy who makes a lot of passes, he's going to have turnovers here and there. I'd rather him turn it over trying to make the right play than be somebody that just kind of like dribbles the ball off his foot or loses the ball in traffic, that sort of thing. Now there is some, I'm going to break down the turnovers. There is some stuff where he's like being a little lazy right now in terms of what he's doing, just like not being sharp enough, which is where I think the rust is, because last year he averaged 5.1 assists, 2.7 turnovers. Like that's not a great assist to turnover ratio, but that's acceptable for a young guard, especially. This year, going into this game, it was 6 assists, 4 turnovers, and after this game, it's going to be, almost 5 turnovers. So, like 4.5 or whatever. So, yeah, like obviously the volume of the turnovers is up. But in terms of like his skill, I don't think it's like a skill issue. There was one turnover in this game that wasn't his fault. It was the one where Tamani slipped the screen and then stopped, and he threw the pocket pass and should have. Tamani slipped the screen and it was there, and he threw a good pocket pass, and Tamani stopped, so the ball was in front of him. It really made no sense because Tamani literally slipped the screen. But the other 5 were all bad turnovers. He's prone to jump passing, and he can throw some really, really good jump passes, but sometimes it gets him into trouble. His first turnover of this game, he drives right and like tries to jump pass, and they collapsed on him. And the weak side defense did a really good job of like playing in the gaps and not allowing a pass out. But that's the type of play. Like there's times where he just needs to come to a 2-foot stop and play off 2. Come to a 2-foot stop, pump fake, pivot, and then it gives him more time to survey the floor and make a decision. Like the open pass on the play that I'm talking about, he drove from the top. Grant rotated behind him to the top, and there was nobody on Grant. But if you're going downhill at the rim trying to jump pass, it's impossible to throw that pass because it's directly behind you. If you come to a 2-foot stop, pivot, then you can throw that pass. So he needs to. I don't think it should be something where he never jump passes, because sometimes that is the right play and it's there. He just needs to be more careful with his jump passing. And maybe play off 2 a little bit more. That's something he worked on this offseason, playing off of 2, but playing off 2 and using his pivot to buy him time to survey the floor when he has a defense collapsing on him, and then it opens up the guy that rotates behind him if they rotate around the 3-point arc, the shooters. So
yeah, I mean, I think part of it is just it feels like he's coming this game. Yeah, like he's ready to go. he's like trying to make plays left and right, and yeah, that can lead to some accidents. So hopefully it's just that as he starts to settle down a little bit. I think at some point he'll realize he doesn't have to be crazy to like make plays. He can be smart and methodical, and that's where I was hoping that. I don't want him to play like Drew, so that don't get me wrong, that's not what I'm saying, but just learn a little bit better, like when to pick your spots, like Drew's been doing in his whole career and stuff. And part of that might, I don't know. I don't want to limit him too much either, though, because I feel like he's at his best when he's just flying around trying to make plays. But he does have to just be a little bit.
I feel like last year they kind of dialed him back a little bit, and he took better care of the ball. But I think at some point it's just kind of like let him loose and let him learn and let him make mistakes. I think the scoring has been good enough that it's like, okay, he's still averaging more assists and turnovers, so it's like, okay, you can say, yeah, he's making mistakes, but he's still playing solid enough basketball to deserve a lot of minutes. And I think that's kind of the best of both worlds. You at some point you got to unleash him and let him kind of learn on the fly a little bit. I think he will start to figure it out. I mean, the whole team's having turnover issues, and I think part of it's the system. There was the jump pass that I talked about, as well as his third turnover of the game, where that was the play where he drove, stopped in the paint, and then kind of like lost the ball, got it ripped away from Filipowski. There's so many times where players on this team will drive, not be able to get all the way to the rim, will pick up their dribble, and everybody around the arc is just standing there. And the player gets swarmed. And the thing is if nobody moves and the defense starts collapsing down, the defense is in the way of that kickout pass. But they're also collapsing down on the ball, right? Because you think about it. The defender is going to be between the ball and his guy. If his guy doesn't move and that defender goes to the ball, all of a sudden it becomes something where you have to try and, you're already being defended by your guy. You're getting doubled and you picked up your dribble and you have to try and find a way to like wrap it around that guy or throw it over him. And it's tough where if there's players moving, all of a sudden guy helps, player moves, now there's a passing lane there. There's a gap. And I've seen this issue so much with multiple players on this team driving, getting stuck. The whole point of the system is everybody's supposed to move once the ball's driven. They're not doing a good job of that right now. They are not doing a good job of that right now, and that's why their turnovers are up. One of the reasons why their turnovers are up. Still got to not jump past and throw it to a defender. Still got to be strong with the ball when you stop in the paint. But when you see all these turnover issues across the whole team, like usually there's an underlying reason in terms of the style of the offense itself. And that's what I've noticed.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's definitely an issue that we've seen. I mean, I could pinpoint a couple of Young Hansen and Donovan Klingan to bring it back to them points where they saw someone that they thought was going to cut to and they stopped or didn't go. And they had turnovers like that too. Yep.
The one that I talked about where he's trying to throw it to Monty when he slipped the screen. And he slipped the screen and then hesitated and then went. And it was like, you can't do that to a teammate. If you're a screener and both the players go level with you or above the ball, the right thing to do generally is to slip because you have nobody behind you. And if somebody rotates over behind you, then like a skip's open or swing, you can force them into rotation. So it was right. It was the read was for Tamani to slip, and Tamani did slip and then stop and scoot through the pass. Like Scoop made the right read, and Tamani initially made the right read to start slipping, and then for some reason he stopped. Right. So there's always turnovers like that. Where, it's not necessarily the fault of the person who committed the turnover. Scoot had a bad one where he tried to throw a pass to Klingan and just lost it out of bounds. Mm-hmm. That's rust to me. That's that'll happen occasionally, but when you're still kind of getting the feel for things, it's your fourth game back in the middle of a season, I mean, how many times did we see those types of turnovers at the start of the season from opposing teams in their fourth game? And then, he tried to throw that lob to Klingan, and I think it was there. He just threw it too high. Klingan's not the bounciest guy. But, just inaccurate pass. So, tried to make the right play, but Yeah, try to that's the thing. It's like try to make the right play, just not executing it. So, and then a 6 turnover was a really bad one, where, and this goes into my point about another point about the turnovers as a team. The 6th one was the one with 8 minutes left in the 4th, where he tried to skip it to Caleb Love, and defender 1 pass away, playing the passing lane, got a hand on it. So just that's like the lazy one that I was talking about, not being sharp.
Right.
Or maybe he... No, I'm not going to make that joke. So... But my bigger point with that... is the Blazers do a really bad job of reading the defender 1 pass away. Really. They're probably the worst team in the league at this. How many times do we see... What'd you say?
I'd agree with that, yeah.
Like, how many times do we see a player drive and somebody 1 pass away stunts at the ball 10 feet off the player 1 pass away, and the Blazers just, try and split it and lose the ball? We see that all the time. It happened multiple times in this very game. We also see where they're just kind of, have the ball above the arc and try and just swing the ball lazily and don't read the player 1 pass away jumping the passing lane. They are really, really bad at reading the player 1 pass away. And that's not, to me, that's not really a coaching thing. Although I guess maybe you could put it on the coaching staff if it's a problem that affects the whole team. Why is it affecting the whole team? But, as a player, you got to just read that guy. I think maybe you could put it on the coaching staff with, okay, they need to make this more of a point of emphasis. But how many turnovers have we seen the past couple of nights where it's they're just swinging the ball at the top of the arc, nothing's even happening, and somebody jumps the passing lane, and they don't see it. Or they dribble, somebody stunts 1 pass away, and they throw the ball out of bounds because of it, like Drew did last game, trying to kick it to Wesley. Or, they lose the ball as the guy stunts the ball. It's wild to me how, there's so many players on this team that I feel kind of get tunnel vision downhill. They're looking to drive. Then they'll try and drive, and they won't see the guy 1 pass away because they're so focused on being their own guy. Or they're okay, I can't drive. All right, I'm going to turn and just lazily swing it to the next guy. And then somebody jumps the passing lane.
Yeah.
So.
Yep, that's definitely something the whole team needs to improve on.
It's such a fixable thing. Their turnovers are so fixable. It's not skill issues.
Mm-hmm.
It's it almost makes it more frustrating. Because it's not them just, where Klingan is trying to do a between the legs hezzy behind the back move. He's 7'2" center and can't dribble well enough for that move and turns it over. It's not those types of mistakes. It's not seeing the guy 1 pass away. You drive, you get caught, stuck, and nobody's cutting, and you have no options, and you lose the ball. You try and jump pass out of control, and you throw it right to a defender. It's just so many basic fixable things. And the thing is, they did fix this. They did fix this at the start of the year, even though they didn't have, point guards. And I always said the turnovers, people just said, they need point guards. And I said, no, these are fixable turnovers, even with the roster that's out there right now. And then we saw them figure it out. Then we see them get point guards back, and now it's an issue again. Obviously, it wasn't point guard dependent. I tried to tell you guys that. So now they got Drew, and they got Scoo, and they got turnovers on turnovers on turnovers. But there's so many plays too where somebody's just so far off 1 pass away, and it's a shooter too. Just swing the ball. It's an easy play. Make the easy play. Don't try and split a guy stunting at you. Obviously he's helping from somewhere. Just all right, take a dribble. When you drive, you should always, the direction you're driving, right when you start driving that way, you can feel if you're beating your defender. Like, that's a feel thing. You can feel that while also reading the guy one pass away, and you see him start to step into your lane. He's leaning away from the offensive player, and it's a shooter. The second he starts stunting into the lane, it's boom, skip. Skip to the shooter. And then they have a three-point shot, or that guy has to close out, and then they can attack a closeout. And it's simple basketball. But they struggle with that so much.
As Neo Raising says in chat, it happens when most of the offenses taking turns with the drive and kick. I do think that is part of it. Is they don't really have sets where there's like a back screen or like you're looking for someone in a certain way to cut, or like if your defense plays it this way, you need to make this cut, and the person with the ball needs to be aware of that person cutting in that situation. It does seem like it's just relying on drive into the lane and make a play, and that does, I think, tend to lead to more turnovers. The
problem with playing too random is the reads are too random. Mm-hmm. When you're running a structured offense, if part of it's like you have the ball at the top of the arc and they set a back screen for Shaden Sharp, you know what the read is. You know it's if Shaden can get behind both defensive players, you just throw the ball around the rim, right? Mm-hmm. If they sync with him and it's a switch, then the guy setting the screen should try and seal the guy on the high side, right? Like, but that's the thing. You know what's coming. You know the read that's coming. And it's a very specific read. Whereas if you're just kind of playing with your head cut off and playing random, you make a play, you put the ball on the floor, you don't really know what the read's going to be. Like, if you don't know who's going to cut, everything's happening quicker. And there's a difference between running a motion offense that's like a little too random and running a motion offense like the Warriors did, where it's like, okay, this isn't a set play, but the ball, if Draymond is in the post and the ball gets skipped to him, we're running split action above him. Because Draymond catches the ball, and he's doing this plenty of times, and he catches the ball in the post, and they're running split action. He knows what the read is on split action. Mm-hmm. Especially when it's Steph Curry in that action. But that's the thing, is like the Blazers' motion offense doesn't have many principled actions to it. So it's a lot of kind of randomness where one guy drives and then maybe somebody cuts and sometimes they don't, and that's the offense. And it makes it really tough on the ball handler. They don't have enough structure to their motion offense. They don't have enough actions, principles. If the ball's here, the guy weak side, the top guy does one or two or three different things, and depending on what he does, that triggers the bottom guy in the corner. If he's going down and screening, that guy curls, right? Going down screening, he can slip. You can have a motion offense where you have actions with multiple options on them. You run those actions enough, it becomes repetition, right? Where, all right, the offensive player is making the same reads depending on the option that's chosen. That's good motion offense. Sometimes I feel like the Blazers' motion offense is just a little too random and guys don't really know what the read is supposed to be. And then they get stuck. Or then they jump past and throw the ball to a defender. It's like, what are you doing? You need to wake up. But it's obviously the system is too much of a problem. You got the worst three-point shooting team. You're running a system that's three-point shooting dependent, and you're leading the league in turnovers, and it's not due to not having point guards, obviously. Obviously the system is not working well enough. On the flip side, you can say, they're not even a bottom 10 offense in adjusted offensive rating.
Yep. And hopefully once you'd have to think at some point they could get used to maybe just playing with each other helps a little bit too. A lot of these guys don't have a ton of games played with each other, so that would help. And you know,
sorry,
it's part of being
I gotta deafen you because game audio's playing. Where is the game audio playing from? What in the world? Okay, sorry. I'm gonna unmute because you're coming through my headphones, and so was the game audio. I'm not trying to play the game audio on the stream. No copyright issues. All right, we're good.
Yeah,
I got like 4 windows with like 5 tabs open in each window, so I had no idea where it was coming from.
This is also part of eventually being a leader too, is like if it is like Scoot's team one day, and I'm not saying he has to do this, but like the true good leaders will get on someone when they're not cutting. When you like, if Scoot's driving and he sees Tamani could easily cut baseline, but he's fading out on the perimeter or something, like you tell him, like when you're watching film or like next time out, be like, dude, I want you to cut on that one. Like I'll find you. Don't worry. Like cut. Like, so hopefully eventually this team kind of figures out how to, like, not necessarily police itself, but like tell each other what the best way to attack is, and they can all help each other out. But I don't think any of them are. They're either you know, like Drew could probably do that, but you know, I don't know if he's going to be around that long to really develop that. It really should be like more of the future core that learns how to play like that. But hopefully, like Mute That Bozo said twice in chat, repetition. Maybe just getting a bunch of playing time together would hopefully help.
Yep. Anyway, we'll do grades at the end. We'll be quick, I think. Or maybe we give grades tomorrow on our watch party, like during timeouts and in between games. Maybe that's the move because we're already like 2 hours in.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to stream tomorrow night. I'm gonna have to work pretty late, so
Rip.
I don't know what time the games start.
Yeah, we're just already almost 2 hours in, and we need to talk about. I think I just saw on Twitter what you were talking about, the message to the season ticket holders.
Yeah, do you want me to read it?
Yeah, you can. I mean, it's
all right.
It's what I was warning about like 2 streams ago.
So yeah, well, there were some comments from the governor of Oregon today that kind of made it seem like that everyone was on the same page and they were in agreement that something, or the Blazers need to stay and all that kind of stuff. But anyways,
well, yeah, but
the Blazers sent out this to their season ticket holders today. It says, "Rip City. For more than 3 decades, Moda Center has been where our community comes together to celebrate, to cheer, and to create memories that last a lifetime. Now we are facing a once-in-a-generation moment to secure that future, and we need you with us. The future we choose is one where Oregonians continue to gather in the heart of Portland, a future with a growing economy, a vibrant central city, and a place where the next generation can fall in love with Rip City the same way we all did. In 2026, Oregon leaders have the opportunity to take action to help secure the long-term future of the Moda Center. For 56 years, the Trailblazers have been a part of Oregon's identity, and through championship runs, rebuilding seasons, big trades, and unforgettable moments, you've been there. From Walton and Lucas to Roy and Aldridge to Dame and CJ, and the exciting core you're seeing come together now. Now we're asking you to help ensure the next generation of fans get to experience that same joy. It starts with a reimagined Moda Center, one that is as uniquely Oregon as the people who call Rip City home. But this is about more than an arena. Moda Center is Oregon's busiest entertainment venue and one of our state's most important gathering places. It brings people together for concerts, basketball games, rodeos, family shows, cultural events, and once-in-a-lifetime moments. It supports small businesses. It supports working families. It supports Oregon's economy. Later this year, Moda Center becomes home to Portland's new WNBA franchise, The Fire. In 2030, we host the NCAA Women's Final Four. the largest sporting event Portland has ever welcomed. To be ready, renovation construction must begin in 2027. This is a generational opportunity, and moments like this don't come around very often. We are one of only 28 markets with an NBA team, the world's most globally unified professional sports league. The Trailblazers serve as a year-round beacon of strength, relevance, and prosperity for Portland and Oregon, connecting our community to audiences across the United States and around the globe. Here's how you can help right now. Visit newmodacenter.com and add your name and support. Share your favorite Blazers or Moda Center memory. Submit written testimony in support of Senate Bill 1501. Talk with friends and coworkers about why this place matters. Contact your elected officials and tell them why securing Moda Center's future matters to you. When you speak, leaders listen. Renovating Moda Center isn't just about updating a building. It's about protecting one of Oregon's most important gathering places. It's about supporting jobs and local businesses. It's about building a future where Rip City continues to bring people together. Together, we can build the future that we want to see for this generation and for those to come after us. Go Blazers. And it's signed Dwayne Hankins, President of Business Operations.
Yep. What are your thoughts?
Honestly, I think it's pretty disgusting to do that to your season ticket holders who are now you're like trying to command an army to go against like to cause an uproar to raise taxes to get like I know they're trying to do it without raising like actual Oregonians' taxes, but I mean, quite frankly, you're asking the people to pay for it that help you pay for it. And on top of that, they also got to notice that ticket prices are probably going to increase as well. So there's that as well. So
I mean, the price of everything's increasing at this point. But I don't have an issue with it because, like, if people don't want to support it, they don't have to support it. But I think it's better than keeping our heads stuck in the sand and then all of a sudden, you know, there's not enough pressure for Oregon lawmakers and then something doesn't get done and then all of a sudden relocation talks start happening. I truly believe if, I don't know when, like what date, like the timeline for everything playing out, but I truly believe like if Oregon lawmakers can't figure out a way to fund the renovation of Moda Center, that the Blazers will probably leave. That's my feeling, and I know it's like, oh, other owners across the league wouldn't let that happen, but the counter argument to that is always like, they don't want to block a team from moving if A, that team can show that it's better financially for the league, and B, due to the fact of, you know, they want the ability to be able to do whatever they want with their own team, and so why would they block another owner that they might need a vote from to be able to do whatever they want with their own team in the future? Who knows? Like, so it's not a scenario where I want to get to, right? Like, I don't want this to ever get to, oh, they're having to vote on relocation, yada, yada, yada. I am cautiously optimistic about them being able to get something pushed through, but it truly does come down to funding this renovation. And I just think this is a little bit more serious than maybe people have taken it, and I have taken it in the past, truthfully, so I'm cool with sounding the alarm. As much as it sucks, I'm cool with sounding the alarm and putting pressure on lawmakers to get it done, because here's the thing, it's without the Blazers, like, Portland's already has some struggles with, like, business wise, and like, but the Moda Center and the Blazers are a huge economic force for Portland and a cultural force, and like the Blazers are extremely important for Portland. It's really bad, just beyond, of course, losing the team that we all love. It's really, really bad for Portland if the Blazers leave, if they can't get the Moda Center renovated. So there's many reasons for lawmakers beyond just, oh, we want an NBA team here because we like basketball, we like the Blazers. There is plenty of incentive for lawmakers to get this done for economic reasons, for other reasons. So there should be nothing standing in the way, but with legislative stuff, it can always get messy. And how do you figure out the funding for all of this? Because I don't think Tom Dundon's going to pay a cent. That's the tough part about all of this. Portland owns the arena. Tom Dundon doesn't own the arena. Even though Tom Dundon would financially benefit off renovations, which is why he's going to push it, which is why he's going to make it a sticking point, the city owns it. So the fact that the city owns it, he can use as basically like, okay, you guys should, public funding should pay for it. I don't own the building. So that's just kind of where we're at.
I mean, it is a tricky situation. They do own the property though that the building sits on.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if it was like, an investment in the surrounding area from Tom Dundon, because they own the land and would own the surrounding development, and that's their part of it.
I'll believe that when I see it. We've been hearing about them needing to develop that area for a long time. I know.
Yeah, but that's what Dundon did with the Hurricanes. Yeah. So
I know Phil Knight is the Albina district right near there. He's putting a ton of money into that to develop that area. I know the Lloyd Center is look like there's people trying to save this from happening, but it's about to be torn down and redesigned into other stuff. But I get this is what needs to happen. Totally understand. I still think it's incredibly poor taste to put that onus on the people that actually have been supporting the team and supporting them the most out of anyone. That's the season ticket holders. Like they're the people that support the team the most financially. It shouldn't be their responsibility to stand up to the government for you, and to let them know this. And on top of that, it just, once again, I know it's a system. I know Portland's going to have to give in to these people to do it. And I know if they don't, someone else will. So you have to. But at some point, I wish someone would stick up to these people and just be like, if you're not able to do this yourself, why did you buy the team? And why are we going into a situation where we're going to be looking like we have possibly cheap ownership that can't afford to do anything? Like it sucks. And I know I'm spoiled because, like you're a little younger, so you didn't get to enjoy all the Paul Allen years, where he treated it like a toy and it was different than normal small markets like we had back before the salary cap and stuff. He had one of the highest, if not the highest salary in the league a lot of years and really tried to buy a championship at one point, kind of like what Oregon's doing with football and stuff like that. But
Oregon's trying to do with football, you mean?
I mean, they've gotten pretty close.
Yeah, but they haven't won a championship yet.
Yeah. I mean, Paul Allen didn't succeed with the Blazers either. He came close as well, yeah. But the lone championship with the Blazers was long before Paul Allen owned the team. So, to me, I really have a tough time with them. Not only, okay, if you want to try and get the government to do this, like, yes, we all understand that's probably the best business decision from him if he's strictly looking at this from I'm going to wring every penny out of these guys I can and do what's best for me as a business for the Portland Trailblazers. But as a kind of a unique small market, I feel like that's the worst way to introduce yourself to the season ticket holder fan base. And I really feel like it just it's one thing to do it and to reluctantly give in to it. It's a totally another thing to then act like, oh, we're having your best interest in mind and blah 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 blah. Like, no, like this sucks for everyone involved that we have to finance billionaires, who someone who could afford to buy a $4.25 billion team is also crying for money. Like, that sucks that we have to play this game to do that. So don't also like patronize us and act like we're so special and look at all the memories and blah blah blah. I think that's in very poor taste, and quite frankly, I was kind of disgusted that they even sent out that email. And man, it's just it's for me, it's like, do it, you have to, but then don't act like, oh yeah, this is for you, blah blah blah. Like, no, like we are the Portland Trailblazers. We have been here supporting the team. You're brand new here. Even Hankins hasn't been around that long. Like freaking, I'm sick of this crap. Like, and it makes me almost get to the point where like I don't want the team to leave, but at some point, if like he's not a good owner or whatever, I'm gonna be like, F this guy. I don't want him as my owner anymore. And I'll say the same thing we tell people when they come in here and be like, see, Chauncey sucked. You guys wanted Stotts out of here. Look what you got. It didn't mean we wanted a crappy coach to come in and coach like crap, right? Like, it doesn't mean that the previous owner was good because the new owner is bad or whatever. We don't even know that yet. But at the same time, I'm just sick of all these rich sports owners acting like they're doing us a favor by keeping our team here that we've had for 56 years. Like, that's bullcrap in my mind. You're muted if you're talking.
Oh, I said I get it. Unfortunately, to me, it's just the reality. Like, it's capitalism, it's business, it's big business, it's billionaires. Like, this is played out in numerous places. Like, this is just kind of how it goes in terms of sports. And like, you know, I'd rather the organization be like, pressure your local lawmakers to get something put through that keeps the team here, than just like radio silence and then all of a sudden they try and leave. You know what I mean? It's, while it still sucks, it's still better than the alternative. You know? So,
well, let me just say, Paul Allen, when the Blazers could have easily moved, he put it on himself to build an arena here, and that's why we have the Moda Center here. He did that all himself, and he also, you can credit him with saving football in Seattle. He doesn't even like football, didn't even like football. He bought it out of civic duty to keep the team in Seattle so nothing would happen to it. And look at that team now, and look how much money they're going to make off the sale from that. And this is what I'm talking about. Like, you get what you put into it. It's not like they would lose money because they have to finance an arena. These people are going to make millions and millions and billions of dollars in 20, 30 years, when Tom Dunnan sells the team for like $16 billion and makes 4 times the amount he bought it for. Do you think Portland gets anything? No, we're just going to have to go through this next thing. Oh, well, the new owner, if we don't renovate or get a new arena, we're going to move. You know, it's bullcrap, dude.
Yeah, I mean, but that's, you buy an asset that's an appreciating asset as a billionaire, like, and then you try and raise the value of that asset, like.
But you make money on it all along too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, Jody was pocketing hundreds of millions of dollars every year just for being the owner of the trust for the Blazers. Like,
yeah, I mean, I get your frustration. You know, it's just kind of like the way the setup is. You know, it's unfortunate, but that's I don't know. It would be nice to have a top 5 richest man in the world or whatever Paul Allen was back then. Sure, I'll fund a stadium. It's just pocket change. Like, sure, we can keep him here. I'll throw some money at the stadium. You know what I mean? Like. Also, with him being a Northwest guy, like, he was a great owner. If he was alive now and bought the team, he'd probably just fund all the renovations and everybody would be happy and this wouldn't be an issue. So I get the frustration, like, we don't have an owner as good as we used to. But, like, realistically, there probably was never going to be an owner that came in and was like that in this situation.
So why did Portland agree to buy it for $1? That was obviously they were setting us up to have to foot the bill for this.
Yeah, but I mean, can you make the argument that even if Oregon foots the bill by owning the arena, they can make that money back in the future? I don't know.
Yeah, see, I don't know how it works because they still lease the building to them for
But also, it's like if there's, you know, jock tax and all the taxes are going towards paying for it, like, how much are they really making off of owning the building compared to the organization owning the building? I'm sure there's some, like, extra, maybe somebody in chat can explain it, but I'm sure there's some, like, extra revenue from that offsets the fact that Oregon's footing the whole bill. And yeah, like, jock taxes, the thing is taxes that are already going to Oregon that, you know, would go to the stadium, so you'd lose that sort of money. But, I mean, Oregon has issues with just keeping track of the money, you know? They have problems just keeping track of where money's going, so, you know, that's a bigger issue that would be very frustrating if I was from Oregon.
Jury, it was a joke about Oregon. Calm down, dude.
What joke? What joke did you make?
About Oregon buying a championship, trying to buy a championship.
Yeah, people need to relax, man. People need to relax.
You guys are Oregon fans that are hacks.
Who said that?
Jury Curta.
Oh, I don't even see it. Yeah. We made a lighthearted joke about the Ducks. If you're actually upset about that, you should relax. I upset Taylor with that, though, so shoot. And that's a mod. So maybe they're just following in the footsteps of our mod, since our mod is a public figure and a role model for the chat. Anyway. Bill Oram, I've already listened to him talk on a separate podcast. I don't think there's really anything for me to be gained by listening to that podcast. He did bring up something at the end of the podcast I listened to, though, Eric. If Oregon doesn't want to foot the bill for renovations, maybe Washington will fit the bill for a new arena. And I'm not talking about Seattle. I'm talking about
the Vancouver,
Washington, baby.
No, that's not happening either.
Vancouver, Washington. He basically brought that up like it'd be funny if they went to Vancouver. That'd be awesome. We could start the streams 15 minutes sooner when I go to games.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll put a stadium in my backyard.
Awesome.
If they move a stadium up here, I hope I was rich enough to buy a nice house by it. Go to the game, 5-minute walk home, stream. Maybe then I'd finally get credentials.
Yeah, right.
But, yeah, like, I get the frustration. I mean, for me, I'm just like not that emotional about it in terms of like being frustrated with like them sending out a message, because it's just like the unfortunate reality of the situation they're in. I'm not particularly surprised, I guess, at this point. Like, this is how a lot of this stuff goes, and you know, it will make for a better fan experience if they put these they get these renovations through. And
but the very fans they're asking to help them are the same ones they're going to absolutely milk dry for every cent, because that's what they're showing the type of people they are, and that's all they care about.
Milk dry how? Just in terms of,
it's going to be harder to get, like, you're going to have to do, like, so do you know, speaking of the Ducks, so like to buy season tickets for football, you also have to contribute like a certain percentage to donate to the school too, to have a season ticket. And like a lot of season ticket places or stadiums have like licensing fees for your seats and things like that you have to pay in addition to the tickets.
Yeah.
Like they're going to start, they're coming into this situation as the team's like on the rise, but these season ticket holders, like my mom, have been there through these horrible last few years and have stuck with the team and have paid normal prices for, quite frankly, a product that was absolute garbage some of these years. And we're still supporting the team and going to every game. And now you're just going to expect them to get them to not move the team. Like, you're the same people threatening to move the team if you don't get this, but you want the people who would be most affected by that to support every one of your causes. Like, no. And you're gonna profit off of these people that you're asking to fight for them. It just, at some point, it might not even be worth it to have the Blazers, in my opinion. That's how strongly I feel about it.
What?
Yeah. I'm just like, at some point, I don't want them to leave, obviously, but at some point I would love it if someone called these people's bluff and just be like, dude, finance it yourself, man. Like,
okay, we lose the team then. We lose the team then.
Maybe.
The majority of owners in sports organizations care about their fans because their fans making money. The majority of billion-dollar corporations care about their customers because caring about their customers makes them money. If it doesn't, like, that's just the unfortunate reality of business. Like, if it doesn't make them money, if caring about their customer didn't matter, like, all right, it's all about making money. Like, that's capitalism. That's, and we could get into a multi-hour-long debate about the pros and cons of capitalism. But unfortunately, like, that's one of the things is, like, businesses, most businesses, not all businesses, but most big corporations, billion-dollar businesses, the way they were able to get there was by maximizing profit and reinvesting profit to make more profit on the back of their client base, their customers, whatever. It's the same way in pro sports. Like, yeah, like, it sucks for the fan. Absolutely. But I think most organizations, may show they care. Some organizations may show they do a better job of showing that they care for the fan. But fans feeling like their organization cares about them leads to fans spending more money, potentially, and being more invested. Like, this team cares about me, right? And unfortunately, it's just like today's day and age, it's about making money, like, to most billion-dollar organizations. Now, in the past, I think Paul Allen's done a good job of, like, he's somebody that actually cared about the fan base. So it's rough going from that to this. But that's
he was a fan himself.
But he was a fan himself. Like, he was a great owner. He was a great owner. So it's tough to go from that to somebody that's been described as a shrewd businessman, but the majority of billionaires are this way. They became billionaires off of sometimes exploiting their customer bases with another business, like Santander. Dundon founded Santander Consumer USA. That's actually the company that finances my car. I've almost paid off my car, but they had issues. They had a lawsuit for some exploitative stuff, right? Like, most billionaires are not people that care a whole lot about other people. They care about making money. So, like, that's just, to me, that's just the unfortunate reality of the situation. You probably weren't going to get a billionaire coming in here being as good as Paul Allen, and this is, like, the result of it, and still don't want him to leave, and, like, people are, even though it sucks, like, people are still have their free will to make the decision they want to make. You know, if they have an issue with it, I don't blame them. If they don't want to pay increased ticket prices, I don't blame them. Yeah, it sucks. But
yeah,
it's business. Like, it's billion-dollar businesses doing what billion-dollar businesses do.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this: the Golden State Warriors just opened Chase Center a few years ago, and that was all privately funded. I mean, it is happening more and more to where it's still rare, but, you know, more and more owners are realizing that and flipping the bill.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think we got an owner that can just pay for that.
No, I know.
That's also the other problem, is we didn't get somebody that was enough of a billionaire. We got a billionaire who wasn't enough of a billionaire. Like, we got that sweet spot of somebody that's a billionaire, maybe a little exploitative, but also not rich enough.
But let me go back to this. If the other group, the one, I forget their names, but the ones that own the Thorns and they own the WNBA team too. I always forget about that. But that group apparently had a competitive offer, and, you know, the Panda Express people flip sides or whatever, but they were initially on this side.
Where was the report that said they had a competitive offer?
Well, it came out with the when they sued the person that the Panda Express people or whatever, and then they ended up settling that. But like, I don't know. From everything I've read from their perspective, is that they were 100% going to keep the team here and wanted it to be a Portland staple or whatever. But I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean, I've also they would have been better for that, but I feel like they might have been worse for running a team.
Well, sure, yeah.
So for me, it's like, okay, just Oregon State lawmakers just fund the renovations. It'll be a better experience after the renovations. I know, like, Moda Center doesn't necessarily need it, but the renovations would obviously, like, improve the stadium. And lock in as long of a lease as possible, and hopefully he runs the team well. And if he runs the team well and they're here, I can be happy with that. Like, competitive team. Yeah, there's going to be some stuff that sucks from that, but kind of is what it is. So, like, hopefully that's the way it plays out. Like, that's just how I see it. But I fully understand the frustrations as well, even though I'm not, like, super frustrated with the way they're going about it. I do get it. I hear you.
Well, I'm like the opposite when it comes. I still would love to see what would happen in, like, not like a real world situation, but a simulation where we got to see it play out. What would happen if we just said, no, finance it yourself, you know? Like, would they be allowed to move the team or whatever? Like, because I'm not as worried about them moving as you and other people are.
I think if that happened, they would relocate.
Yeah, I mean, if we told them to go F themselves, yeah, of course. Like,
but like, I think even if we say we're only willing to pay a third of it, they would be a very high risk for relocation. Because Tom Dundon is basically going to go back to the NBA and say, like, I don't even own the building. They have the oldest building that hasn't had major renovations, and they aren't willing to play ball hardly at all. They're only willing to fund a third of the renovations they need, even though they own the building. I'm going to start talking to other cities about packages that are potentially better, places that might be able to make more money. And it's if the view from the league is like, oh, local lawmakers, they won't renovate the building they own. You know, like there's a lot of talk. Bill Oram was talking about this. Like the visiting locker room's really bad, and you know, like kind of the bowels of the stadium. Like reporters will be walking past players that are, you know, getting taped up because it's like in a hallway. You know, stuff like that. And he was basically saying like Adam Silver sees that and knows that that's the setup, and for a teams coming into Moda Center, it's not a good setup, which is something that matters to the NBA. So it's like, all right, you got this something like that, and oldest stadium without major renovations, and lawmakers aren't willing to fund the renovation for the building that they own. It's really easy for the NBA to just sit there and justify, like, we're trying to get them to do what they need to do with their own building, but they're not playing ball. Like, we just put a team back in Seattle. Like, okay, sure. Go explore other opportunities. See if you can get an opportunity that makes the league more money. And then he goes, finds an opportunity, and then it's, all right, time to vote. And, like, that's the way it would play out, I think, if they played hardball. I just think, unfortunately, Tom Dundon has all the leverage in this situation.
Yep.
So. But, yeah. That's just a road I don't want to go down. that road sounds a lot. That road sounds worse than what's happening now. So hopefully they can make progress. Hopefully they can. What did the governor say today that caught your ear?
Just that they've had. Well, she said that he's a shrewd businessman, but that they've had productive talks or something like that, and that they're all pushing in the same direction and stuff like that. But
yeah, the same direction is public funding for $600 million of renovations. There's lawmakers pushing for that, and Tom Dundon's pushing for that. Basically, this could be boiled down to, can they actually get approved public funding for the renovations or not? If they do, team stays. If they don't,
well,
problems.
I think this is where the baseball thing actually screwed us, because they could easily say, dude, you guys passed a law for a team that doesn't even and probably will never exist, but you can't pass the same law for or the same bill for it.
Yeah.
Like keeping the Blazers here. So that definitely hurts the leverage of the city, that they were willing to do it for a fake baseball team, but not for the real Blazers.
Yeah. I mean, in the end, a jock tax for the Moda Center for renovations would be tax money that the state would lose. So do they increase taxes on people to replace that?
I mean, you know they will.
Yeah. So that's the loss there, but I don't
But
know.
that's where it
It's
comes
easy.
back to me being pissed about the email, because these are the people who are going to have to pay more taxes, have to pay higher ticket prices just to line Tom Dundon's pocket with more money. But we're gonna fight for him to have that opportunity to rake us over the coals and bleed us for every dollar we have. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I mean, I think the more optimistic way to maybe look at it, or the most positive way you could look at it, easy for me to say, I'm up here in Washington, but you're paying a little bit more in taxes to keep a major asset to the state. Like, what are the benefits of that you're paying taxes for? Outside of like the benefits for Tom Dunn, what are the benefits for the area? What are the benefits for Portland, for Oregon, etc.?
Well, like you said earlier, we don't even know where most of the money's going.
Yeah, but I won't lie. Like this situation is stressing me out. It has been stressing me out. Like every time I think about this situation, I get stressed out. So I if nothing's happening, I would like to just not think about this. Obviously, if stuff's happening, we talk about it. But if stuff's not happening, I don't want to think about it, to be honest. Like, so they have like a 1 month legislative window, so there might be a lot of talk around this. After that, if they don't get something approved, then I think we wait till next year. So, but Tom Dundon will come in, and seeing Tom Dundon will be like, okay, are you going to move the team or not?
All right. This is what pisses me off, Tori. This is why I get upset. So Adam Smith says, yeah, Eric, the people who care about both the team and community have a voice to let lawmakers know that keeping the team matters and is of the benefit of many levels. Yes, exactly. And that's why it freaking sucks. They know that. They know that Portland doesn't want to lose the Blazers. So leave us alone. Just get the financing done. But like, you're asking us to then stand up for you and tell lawmakers how much Portland means to us. You freaking know how much it means to us. Otherwise, you wouldn't be doing this, right? This is all your leverage is against us, so we don't lose the team. So don't then give me this bull crap about you. Oh, well, do it for your community. Yeah, no shit. We have to do it. We know we have to do it. But don't freaking give us this thing about how good it is for us to be part of the community and do all this stuff when you're threatening to rip our freaking team from us if we don't do it. Like, screw that. We are screwed in this situation, and we have to succumb to this bullcrap that get to game the system to keep them here. We have to do it. So we know it. Then don't ask us to be like, oh, please let us donate more money to you and give you more money so you can keep the team here that we love. Like, screw that, dude. I don't want to have to do that. We want the team here. Freaking get it done. Like, you don't need us to tell you that we want the team here. Everyone fucking knows it.
There we go. That's the first legit rant we've gotten this year. But I get the frustration. I'm just more resigned to the fact that that's just the dark side of capitalism.
I know, but I'm saying, like, just leave us alone. Just freaking do it.
Yeah.
Screw us over. Like, we know it's going to happen. Screw us over. Don't then write an email telling how much our support for you screwing us over would mean to you. Like, congratulations, dude. We know that. We want the Blazers to stay. You have us by the balls. Freaking don't, like, squeeze harder, dude. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, but like, I'll go sign the freaking petition anyway.
Right? Yeah. We'll all go sign it. Right? We'll go do it. But like, don't freaking make it out to be like, oh yeah, we care so much about you. Please do this so you get to keep your team.
See, like, if I see a team doing stuff for fans, like I always have that mindset that's like, okay, what's the business incentive here for the team? Because there's anything they ever do for fans, there's probably a business incentive behind it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like there's always like, oh, in the long run, this helps our profits. Like everything they do boils down to that for the most part. Building a winning team results in higher profits.
Yeah.
Right? Like
there is a point. I mean, it's happened in lots of places where fans stop going to the games at some point, and you can go too far in one direction. Like there is some sort of balance there.
Well, renovating the arena makes it less likely for fans to stop coming to games. You make it feel like,
well, yeah,
like more of an event and just a place to be, even if the team sucks. Like, you know, like that's a big part of the incentive for the Blazers to do these renovations, even though the Moda Center is like an okay stadium. So, like. I don't know. I view a lot of business stuff with just that cynical lens of like, as a business, you're doing this because it makes you more money. As a business, even though it's a bad, in bad taste, like you're sending out that email to season ticket holders because you think it's gonna help you get these renovations through and increase the value of your asset and make you more money. Like, obviously, everything in that's kind of BS, like to try and pull at the heartstrings of a fan to help them in the long run make more money. And that sucks. And yeah, that's in bad taste. But it's not. That's the way businesses operate and big businesses operate. And I will never convince myself. Oh yeah, at least I'll be 50 by then. At least I'll be 50 by then. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of my mindset. At least I'll be 50 by then and, have who knows how many tens of kids. Just kidding.
I do see this in businesses all the time, and they would do anything to squeeze an extra dollar, an extra percent out of you right this moment, without any care of the future. And then it's like a year from now, it's like, whoa, how come we're not selling as much of this product? It's like, well, because you screwed this person over to sell your millionth case of whatever in this situation. And then like eventually people got fed up and went to some other brand that they didn't get treated like a number with or whatever, and it can hurt your bottom line in the future. I think a lot of people are short-sighted when it comes to that kind of stuff in terms of building relationships, and the best companies are the ones that have an extremely loyal base of people that would never even consider going elsewhere or doing anything else. And unfortunately, sports, and especially in Portland with the Blazers, we're a one-trick pony where we don't have an alternative to support or go to instead of the Blazers. So it's like it's all or nothing when it comes to the Blazers. So like they know that in this situation, but I do think a lot of actual businesses that aren't sports related do care just so much about that short-sighted making a dollar right now that they don't realize how many dollars they're losing in the future because of their actions.
Person in chat says worst case scenario they move to Beaverton or something. If they can't fund $600 million of renovations for Moda Center, they won't be able to fund $1.2 billion to build a new arena in Beaverton. Like all the same legislative stuff comes into play. The only way they're moving is if they can't get the renovations through. So, like, a new arena is, I think, pretty clearly not happening. Until
Well,
until 2050.
The only thing I would say about that is a new arena would, depending on where they put it, it's kind of similar to the baseball stadium thing, where they wanted to put it initially. They had plans. It was like just acreage and acreage of like restaurants and apartments and all that stuff. So like if you did build an arena elsewhere and you were Tom Dundon, you could do what a lot of other cities like Detroit has done, like Denver has done, like Atlanta did around their baseball stadium, is build this whole like basically city around the stadium and you own all that. So, and that's the baseball people were talking about buying Red Tail at one point, the golf course, and they were gonna develop all these other things around the stadium there if they put it there. But so that's the only thing I'd say about building an arena elsewhere. Yes, you might have to fund it, but you could also potentially buy a big enough land to where he could do all the things he can't do around the Moda Center or haven't been able to get done around the Moda Center. And he could have like this mile-long stretch of land that was like all his, and he could build this whole community around. But I'm not saying that would happen. I'm just saying that would be the only justification I could see for someone wanting to keep it here but build it elsewhere.
How would you feel if it's all public funding for the stadium, but Dundon pledges to put some money into redeveloping the area around the stadium?
I mean, like I said, I don't buy into any of that crap. But
like if that's what happened,
Jumptown and all this, there was all these things that were supposed to happen around the Moda Center. I mean, it'd be great if it did happen.
Would that take some of your frustration away if that's what happened?
It depends on what's built up. I mean, it's just more profit for him if he owns all those things he's building there. But yeah, I mean, I guess it'd be better if there were more restaurants and things to do around that area. It'd be nice. But my frustration isn't with the area around the Moda Center. I mean, I am frustrated about how that area has never been developed. Don't get me wrong, but that's not what my current frustration is.
Yeah. I forgot what else I was going to say, but it's... Yeah, I mean, I hope. I think people need to take it as a serious possibility. I feel like some people are a little naive with this situation. Like, Tom Dundon said he wanted to keep the team here. Okay, Clay Bennett said he wanted to keep the Sonics in Seattle. Yes, there were some differences to that situation, but it's like, okay, now we're going to take a billionaire at his word? As if he's not more interested. Like, Tom Dundon is not more interested in telling the truth than he is about making more money. I promise you that. So, like, don't sit here and be like, oh, he says the reports are he would rather keep the team in Portland. Like, okay, cool. Yeah, you keep him here if they approve renovations. And then also, like, oh, he has Portland-based owners. And he might not even own 50%. It doesn't matter. If he's still the controlling owner, he's the controlling owner. Like, those Portland-based people don't get to override his decision to relocate the team if that happens. So, and like one of the people is like Sheil Tile, whose wife is on the board at OHSU. But like, aren't they from California?
I don't know.
Like, so I don't even know how deep the Portland ties run, So That's just where it's a lot of stuff that, like, yeah, it's cool, but and I used to buy into that, but the more I've kind of looked into this, the more it's just like, no, they need to fund the renovations. If they don't, there's going to be issues. If they do, then should be fine for, till around 2050, and then there will probably need to be a new stadium. So, but who knows what the world looks like in 24 years. That's almost as long as I've been alive. So that's why it's like, yeah, just that's fine. Nico Topish played 12 minutes today, had 2 points, 3 turnovers, 1 assist. But cool to see him finally make his NBA debut.
Yeah.
Also kind of cool to see Ousmane Dieng cook his former team.
Yeah, that was funny. Getting a chance to play.
Yeah. Anyway.
You want to move your phone a little bit.
Oh, yeah. I'll probably be live tomorrow night. We'll see if Eric jumps on for any of that. When's the first game tomorrow?
Well, there's usually the celebrity game first.
6 p.m. I think 6 p.m. should work for me. Excuse me. Yeah, so it's like 6 p.m. The final game starts at approximately 7:35 p.m. Pacific. And then they have a game at 8 p.m. between Hampton University and North Carolina A&T State University. I do wonder, so Adam Silver has a press conference at 1 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. I do wonder if he's asked anything about Portland's situation again.
Yeah, I'm assuming someone like Hyken might be at the All-Star game covering the players that are the Blazers that are in the events. So,
yeah.
Hopefully someone asks him.
Yeah. Anyway, anything else, Eric? I don't really feel like taking the time to go through player grades, but we'll do it at some point over this All-Star break. Yeah.
I mean, we can have like our summer type shows on Monday night or something.
Yeah, we'll see.
But yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Sorry for cussing.
No, it's all good.
Hope everyone has a good weekend.
Also,
All-Star break.
Yeah. Also, I just gotta say the report from Legion Hoops via Shams about the NBA is discussing creating a tournament among lottery teams to determine draft order in order to stop tanking is the dumbest idea ever.
Yeah, it is.
Like I quote tweeted this just real quick because I did want to bring this up. I would literally be rooting for Blazers to lose in the play-in because I'm confident they could win a lottery tournament and get Darian Peterson or AJ DeMonza. Yeah. And if it's like, oh, play-in teams are not allowed to participate in the tournament, it's only the 10 worst teams that don't make the play-in, I would be rooting for Portland to miss the play-in. You're literally just switching which teams tank. Now the better teams at this point of the year is like, maybe we should start tanking so that we can miss the play-in. That's a worse scenario. I'd rather it just be like the teams with nothing to play for, or the teams tanking. Mm-hmm. But then also players are going to play for their replacement. Also, how does that work with the Clippers own the Thunder's pick? Or no, the Thunder own the Clippers pick. Will the Clippers play for the pick that goes to the Thunder and just forfeit, basically? So the Thunder have a bad pick? How would you work that out? There's no that's such a dumb issue or a dumb idea with so many things wrong. Almost everything that fixes tanking has repercussions that are even worse than the actual tanking itself. So
yeah,
I think people need to stop caring so much. I mean, people are freaking out about the Jazz. They just won 2 in a row. Whatever. It's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not really a fix in my opinion. Anyway, hopefully you guys have a good Friday. I mean, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Planning on streaming that. Should be fun. Because the Rising Stars, they play a little harder. So we'll do that. And then maybe we'll be live again on like Monday night. Maybe not. Maybe I just want to chill for a week. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, leave a like on your way out if you're subscribed. If you're new, share the channel with a friend if they're a Blazer fan and can handle honesty. Because I will tell it like it is. The Blazers win, though. The Blazers win.
Yeah.
They were 4-1 going into the All-Star break, like I asked. So they reached that goal. 2 games below 500.
Kansas City Blazers won a game tonight.
Oh, my God. That's disgusting. Did the Oregon Trail even run through Kansas?
I don't know.
Could they even keep the name? We'd become like the Kansas City Outlaws or something. It'd be super stupid. Outlaw Uprise. No, this channel. I don't know. Not going to think about it. We're out of here. Have a good rest of your night or morning because it's past midnight. Appreciate you guys joining the stream this early. And, man, we've been live for almost 3 hours. That's crazy. Well, you've been live for almost 3 hours. I've been live for like 2 hours and 20 minutes. But anyway, out of here. Until next time. As always, peace out. Go Blazers!